everyone, welcome back to Review 2012. Today we're going to be focusing in on questions 10 through 17. If you have any questions with these, please make sure that you send me an email and I will get back to you. So today, question 10, we're going to evaluate log 6 produces 216 minus log 4 produces 1. Plus the 2 log of 2 produces 16. You guys have to realize that these are 3 small little problems. So I'm going to go ahead and focus in on this one first. Log 6, 216 equals x. You're going to keep that base the same and switch these. So you have 6 to the x power equals 216. 6 to what power equals 216? 6 to the third. 6 times 6 times 6 gives me 216. So we know that this right here is equal to 3. You also can go ahead and throw that right into your calculator if you want to too. Okay, this next one we have log 4 produces 1 equals x. You're going to change this log to exponential. So you're going to keep that base the same and flip those. So you have 4 to the x power equals 1. And 4 to what power equals 1? When x is equal to 0, 4 to 0 equals 1, so minus 0. And then the last one, we have log 2, 16 equals x. Okay, we do have that 2 out in front, so just be careful with that right there. This is going to be plus 2 times whatever we get here. Okay, so we have base 2. I'm changing this log to exponential, so I'm going to switch these right here to what power equals 16, and x is equal to 4. 2 to the 4th power equals 16, so we have 2 times 4. So we have 3 minus 0 plus the 8, okay? 3 minus 0 is 3, plus 8 gives me a final answer of 11, okay? All right, this next one, number 11, this f of 1 indicates that they want us to go ahead and find the inverse. So the first thing that you're going to do is you're going to find the inverse. Remember, the first step to finding this inverse is to change this f of x to y. So we have y equals 2x minus 1 divided by x minus 2. Once you're done doing that, you're going to go ahead and switch the x and y values. So we have x equals 2y minus 1 over y minus 2. At this point, we can go ahead and cross multiply. So we have 2y minus 1 equals x times y minus 2. You can go ahead and distribute. So we have 2y minus 1 equals xy minus 2x. Okay, at this point, what is very important that you want to do is you're trying to solve for y. So what you need to do is you need to get all of your y values to one side and everything else to the other side. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move this 2x here and this y here. So I'm going to add 2x to both sides of the equation. Now that's gone. And I'm going to take this 2y and bring it over to the other side by doing the inverse operation. So I have 2x minus 1 equals xy minus 2y. Okay, now you're going to go ahead and pull out your GCF. So I have 2x minus 1 equals, you want to pull out your y here. So you have y, x minus 2. And now I can finally solve for y by doing the opposite operation. So I'm going to divide both sides by x minus 2. And my final answer for over here is y of negative 1, which is the inverse, is equal to 2x minus 1 divided by x minus 2. Okay, that's just for the part A. Part B, now they want you to go ahead and they want you to put negative 1 in. So we have 2 times negative 1 minus 1 and negative 1 minus 2. Okay, so you guys are going to go ahead. This is going to give us negative 2 minus 1. That's going to give me negative 3 -1 minus 2, that's going to give me -3. And the answer for B, the inverse of -1, is going to be 1. So this right here is part A, and this right here is part B. All right, next question. This one right here is going to be dealing with the vector. Remember, vector is going to give us the direction right here. So they have 3 times vector A plus 2 times vector B. So what you're going to do is you're just going to be doing 3 times -4 plus 2 times vector B, which is 2, -1. You guys can go ahead and distribute. So we have 9, -12 plus 4, -2. All right, and now you guys can go ahead and add your x values, and then you can go ahead and add your y values. So your vector is 13. 9 plus 4 is 13. That's your x value. That's the direction. And -12 minus 2, that gives me that -14. Okay, so that's the vector. Now they want us to find the magnitude of just this 3b here. Okay, so when you're talking 3b, you're going to be talking about 3 times the 2 -1, which is equal to 6, -3. Okay, and we want to go ahead and find the magnitude of this right here. So when you're taking a look at the magnitude right here, this is our x value. So we can say that we're 6 from the initial point, 6 units away from the initial point on the x, and the y, we can go ahead and say that we are -3. Okay, so we have something that looks like this right here. So we're over 6, down 3, okay? And what this is going to be right here is from the initial, what is the distance from the initial to that point right there, okay? As you guys can see that this right here is set up for the Pythagorean theorem, a squared plus b squared equals c squared. We also used in class the square root of x squared plus y squared. So you guys can go ahead and do either one. They both work out as the Pythagorean theorem. So we have x squared. So we have 6 squared plus -3 squared. We have 36 plus 9. So we have the square root of 45, okay? Now you guys can go ahead and simplify that. Perfect, non-perfect. The largest perfect square that goes into 45 is 9 times 5. The square root of 9 is 3, radical 5. So the distance from that point, the initial point to the point right there, is 3 radical 5. Okay, this one right here, we want to find the interval that satisfies the inequality x minus 4 and x plus 5. So you're going to go ahead, and this right here is the inequality, less than or equal to 0. So you're going to go ahead and set this x minus 4 equal to 0, and you're going to solve for that here, and we're going to get x is equal to 4. And you're going to do the same thing for the denominator. You have x plus 5 is equal to 0. You're going to subtract 5 from both sides, and x is equal to -5. So we know that our points here are going from -5 to 4. Okay? And now we have to decide what satisfies this inequality. So what you're going to have to realize is that this right here is less than. So we're trying to find when is this going to be negative. Okay, so when you guys start here, you're going to start and you're going to pick values, anything that's going to be less than -5. So you can pick -6, -7, whatever you want. So I'm going to pick -6 as my value that I'm going to substitute in. So -6. And I'm going to see if that's going to give me a negative value. So -6 minus 4. -6 minus 4, that gives me a negative. -6 plus 5, that's also going to give me a negative. Now, a negative divided by a negative is a positive. So that section right here does not satisfy. Okay, now I'm going to pick any number between -5 and 4. I'm going to pick 0. 0 minus 4, that's going to give me a negative. 0 plus 5, that's going to give me a positive. A negative divided by a positive gives me a negative. So yes, that does satisfy. This whole quantity is then less than or equal to. And the next one that I'm going to do is I'm going to pick something greater than 4. I'll pick 5. 5 minus 4, that's going to give me a positive. 5 plus 5, that's 10, that's a positive. So a positive divided by a positive gives you a positive, so that does not satisfy. So what this is saying is any number between -5 and 4 will satisfy this equation. Now, we have to decide if it's an open or a closed circle. It is going to be a closed circle because it's equal to at 4, so that'll be closed. At -5, it will not satisfy because if I have -5 plus 5, that'll leave a 0 in the denominator, and you can never have a 0 in the denominator because that'll make that fraction undefined. So that'll be an open circle right here, and all of the quantities from -5 to 4 will satisfy this interval. So it'll go from, we need parentheses, -5 to 4 bracket. Okay, this parenthesis means that it's not part of the solution. This bracket means that it is part of the solution. Okay, moving right along to 14, we have to go ahead and do some simplifying. You guys remember when you simplify, you want to think about, is there a GCF first? So you want to ask yourself, can I take out a GCF? Yes, they both have 8 in common. So I'm going to take out the 8. I'm left with x to the 3rd plus 8. Then I'm going to go to the bottom. They are all even, so I know I can pull 2 out. I have x squared minus the 5x minus 14. Okay, so now I have 2 more things that I have to go ahead and simplify. This one is a perfect cube, and this one is my trinomial. So I'm going to go ahead and take care of my perfect cube. Just a little reminder about perfect cubes. You guys want to remember SOAP, same, opposite, always positive. And you guys also want to remember that formula. A plus B, a squared minus AB plus B squared. Okay, so this right here will give you your A value, and this right here will give you your B value. So you want to ask yourself, what is the cube root of x to the 3rd? X. What is the cube root of 8? 2. So these are your A and B values that you're going to be substituting in for A and B. So we have x plus 2, x squared minus 2x plus b squared, that's 2 squared, that's going to give us 4. Divided by 2. Now we're going to do our trinomial, okay? We're going to use the AM method, add and multiply. X times x, signs are different, so we have a negative and a positive. We want something that multiplies the 14 that adds to 5. We're going to know 7 and 2. We have more negative than we do positive. Okay, from this point we can start to do some canceling. So you guys can see that we can cancel this here, any numerator with any denominator, x plus 2, x plus 2. You can also 8 divided by 2, that gives me 4. Okay, once I'm done with that, there's nothing else I can cancel, so my final answer is 4 times x squared minus 2x plus 4 divided by x minus 7. Okay, we're going to get into matrix. I'm going to really show you with this one just how to put it into your calculator. When you guys are taking your test for next week, you guys can do the same. You guys can list the steps here. So the first thing that you're going to do is you're just going to go ahead and do second x to the negative 1. In class, we did all of these the long way by hand. But on the final exam, they do only expect you to throw that into your calculator. So that's nice. So second, x to the negative first, and you guys can do the edit. Second, mode. Second, x to the negative first, and it's your first option here. So let me do this step by step for you. The first thing that you're going to do is you're going to do second x squared. You can see that that's matrix. You want to go over to edit first, and you're going to go to 1, which is A, and this is a 3 by 3, so you have to indicate 3 by 3, and then you just put all of your numbers 2, 1, 7, 3, 0, 5, 5, negative 1, 2. And then you're going to quit. And then you're going to do second x squared, and you're going to go back to edit, and you're going to go do the same thing for B. You're going to hit enter, and this is a 3 by 2. And you're going to do the same thing, 3 by 2, and then you're going to put all your 1, 2, 3, 5, 4, and 7. Once you're done with that, you can do second quit, second x squared, which is the matrix, and you guys can go over to math, and it's option number 1. You can hit 1 there. And we are just doing this to A, so you guys can go second x squared, hit number 1, enter, close the parentheses, and you'll get an answer of 8. Okay, now they want us to multiply, so you guys can just go ahead and do second. You want A, so you hit enter, A times second matrix, go down to B, enter, enter, and you will get 23, negative 2, 23, 57, negative 2, and 69. Okay, so just go ahead and follow these few steps there. If you have any questions with that, please let me know. Okay, to simplify, we want to rationalize the denominator, so you're going to be multiplying by the conjugate. So you're going to multiply both sides here, both the numerator and denominator, by 2 minus 6i, 2 minus 6i. And you're going to go ahead and do some foiling on both the numerator and denominator. So you have 4 times 2 is 8, minus 24i, minus the 6i plus 18i squared, divided by, you're going to do the same thing for the denominator. This one you can do the shortcut because you know the centers will cancel out, okay? So we will have 2 times 2 and 6i minus the 6i. So 2 times 2 is 4 minus 36i squared. You can FOIL this. When you FOIL this, you're going to get 12i minus 12i, and they do cancel out. So You can do that too if you want to. All right, you guys have to realize something special about this I squared. So keep that in mind. This I squared is equal to -1. So you have 18 minus 18 times -1, which will give you -18. And this one, this I squared here, is also equal to -1. So you'll have right here this -36, that negative is going to give you plus 36 there. All right, so you can clean this up and combine like terms. You have 8 minus the 18. That's going to give you -10. Combine this right here. -24i minus 6i, that's going to give me -30i. And 4 plus 36 is going to give us 40. You guys can see now we can reduce this right here because 10 goes into all of these evenly. So you can pull out the 10. We get -1 minus 3i divided by 40. And then you guys can go ahead and reduce that. And your final answer, -1 over 3i divided by 4. Okay, and last but not least, we're finally done with this. This one right here, you guys can see is absolute. When you have an absolute, you're going to make one positive and one negative and solve for that. So we have 1 minus 4x equals +5, and 1 minus 4x equals the -5. And once you get here, you guys can just go ahead and solve. Subtract 1 from both sides. -4x equals 4. Divide both sides by -4, and x is equal to -1. You're going to subtract 1 from both sides. -4x equals -6. And x is equal to +3/2. So our final answer, -1, 3/2. Okay, if you have any questions, please make sure that you let me know. Have a great day.